Strange facts about John B. in Outer Banks you didn't know. If you've seen Outer Banks, you may think you know everything there is to know about John B., but you're likely wrong. There are several strange facts about John that even the most dedicated Outer Banks fans are unaware of. But before we begin, make sure to hit that like button so we know who the real Outer Banks fans are. The beginnings of Outer Banks. Outer Banks has become one of Netflix's most popular new shows. The action-adventure series premiered in April of 2020 and was super popular amongst teen viewers. The series tells the story of a group of teenagers who live in an area north of California referred to as Outer Banks. The group is known locally as Pogs and soon learns that John B.'s father is missing. The group is determined to get to the bottom of his disappearance, but along the way they find a treasure that has been linked to John's father. The group is challenged along their journey, both by law and by a group known as the Kooks. The Kooks do their best to keep the Pogs down, tormenting them to wit's end throughout the series. John B. is the lead character in the series, played by Chase Stokes. He is considered the leader of the Pogs, which explains why the group is willing to go to the ends of the earth to find out what happened to his father. John knows that his father disappeared while attempting to salvage a sunken ship, but he needs the group's help to find more clues that may lead to his father's whereabouts or eventual fate. John is just 16 years old and grew up in an area known as the Cut, near the poorest side of town. John was raised in a single-parent household after his mother walked out on him and his father when he was only 3 years old. She moved to Colorado, leaving the two of them to fend for themselves while she started a new life, far away from the dangers that lurk around the Cut. We learn that 9 months before the first episode, John's father went missing, leaving him completely alone. It has been largely decided that his father passed away at sea, but John isn't willing to let go of his gut feeling that his father is somehow still alive. He has dedicated his life to finding answers and solving his father's disappearance. While working out the details of the case, John moved in with his uncle. Though around the time the series began, his uncle needed to leave town to help out with houses that are being constructed in Mississippi, leaving John to, once again, fend for himself. Though this time he has his friends by his side to help him out every step of the way. The secret of John B. and Chase Stokes. John B. isn't necessarily a secretive guy, so by watching the series you may think you know everything about him. However, John B.'s real-life actor Chase Stokes has many secrets that you may be blissfully unaware of. One of the most interesting pieces of John B. trivia is that while John is a teenager struggling to figure out who he is in life, Chase Stokes is a mature 27-year-old, more than 10 years older than the character he plays in the series. Chase has been making his way through the acting business for many years, long before John B. was dreamt up by the writers. He was born in September of 1992, making him a Virgo by nature. Chase's true talent certainly shines through in the series, as most viewers would have never guessed he was a decade older than the character he plays. So good job, Chase, you definitely had us all convinced. If you've been watching the series feeling as though you've seen Chase perform before, you likely have. He has been active in Hollywood since 2014 and has likely appeared in many of your favorite Netflix and television shows. Most notably, Chase was cast as Reed in Stranger Things. Reed held a fairly minor role in the series and only appeared for a single scene back in season 1. He was a student at Hawkins High School. After Jonathan and Nancy spent the day buying hunting supplies, Reed rode past them in the passenger seat of a car. He taunted Nancy and said he couldn't wait to see her movie, speaking of some graffiti that had been sprayed on the local theater's billboard. After this scene, we never heard from Reed again, but his character has stuck out in the minds of many fans, hoping to see more of him in future seasons. Considering the series is currently in production for its 4th season, we may see more of Reed sooner than you may think. Aside from Stranger Things, Chase has appeared in several other television series that proved to be fairly popular. He was cast as Graham in 3 episodes of Daytime Divas, a drama that aired on VH1 back in 2017. He then continued his career and played Russell in The Beach House, a film that proved to be very popular with the middle-aged female demographic in 2018. His career soon took a big leap when he was cast in the Hulu original series The First, playing the role of Finn in a single episode. A short while after this, he landed the role of John B. in Outer Banks, and the rest, as they say, is history. Chase's mistake. John B. as we know him today almost didn't exist, and it would have been the fault of Chase. It's difficult to imagine anyone else playing the role of John B. It almost feels as though Chase was born to play the role. He is a natural and we couldn't see anyone playing John aside from Chase. However, he revealed in an interview that he was originally uninterested in the role. He recalled the day he was requested to audition for the role and said that the email was the most boring and bland email he had ever received. He explained the email and said that it was incredibly vague, simply saying that it would be produced by Netflix and involved 4 friends on a treasure hunt. His knee-jerk response was, "It's a Goonies ripoff." While his response is completely understandable given the details he had at the time, it's shocking to hear that he turned down the role so quickly. He was incredibly opposed to the idea and didn't want anything to do with the series. However, he was soon sent a portion of the script to look over. As it would turn out, Outer Banks was everything but a Goonies spinoff. The problem arose when Chase had already turned down the role. He recalls thinking he had made a horrible mistake but was thankfully allowed to reconsider the role, becoming the star of the show. Let this be a lesson to each of you to never tune out an idea until you've given it a chance. Another tidbit of info Chase shared was that he didn't originally audition for John B. That role was the farthest from his mind. He was more interested in playing Topper, Sarah's crazy ex-boyfriend. We could definitely see him playing a convincing role of Topper, but the casting team had different plans in mind, casting him as John B in one of the most fitting roles of the year. Chase and Madeline's relationship. This is by far the most shocking secret about the series. Chase and Madeline, who plays Sarah, are currently dating. Chase broke the news of their relationship in the summer of 2020, after the two had been filming for many months and tossing around the idea of dating. The two seemed very well suited for one another and seemed to be getting along just fine. The two seemed to have been destined to be together since the start of the series, as they both shared similar emotions about the directions that John and Sarah's characters should go. Madeline said in an interview, "Chase, Jonas, and I all sat down from the get-go and spoke about the relationship. We wanted to make sure it was real and had depth to it. There were things that Chase and I specifically added to the script that felt personal. You have to sell it. It's gotta be compelling." Thankfully, the cast all clicked and we had such great chemistry. So we all had this friendship from the beginning. So building on that and then projecting it on the screen felt very, very real. We can't help but wonder if the elements they added to the script were based on the real-life chemistry between the two. Interestingly, both Chase and Madeline were no strangers to Netflix ways of doing things. In fact, not only did Chase act in the Netflix series Stranger Things, but so did Madeline. Madeline played the role of Tina in a handful of episodes in the second season. Tina and her friends Carol and Vicky were the first to acknowledge Billy when he first arrived at Hawkins High. Tina also hosted a major party that Nancy, Steve, Billy, Tommy, and Jonathan each attended, so she played a fairly major role at the beginning of the second season. One of Us is Lying. Even though Chase has been hard at work on the Outer Banks series, he has also been cast as a recurring character in an upcoming television adaptation of the book One of Us is Lying. The story is considered to be a mystery suspense/thriller, quite similar to the Outer Banks. The book was first released in 2017 and proved to be shockingly popular with the young adult crowd, prompting a series to be created in its honor. The series is a classic whodunit, involving 5 high school classmates who were sentenced to detention for various mischievous activities. 4 of the 5 students were considered popular kids with a reputation that precedes them, though Simon the outcast has beef with each of them. We learned that Simon planned to reveal the secrets of the other 4 students on Tuesday, but after being locked in detention with the 4 on Monday, he was found deceased. Because he had dirt on each of the students, everyone is considered a suspect in this case. Chase Stokes will be appearing in the series taking on the role of JT Forrester, and we can't